Hi there. I am getting ready to start an Instagram Live. Oops, let's see what I need to adjust. I need to adjust the height just a little bit. And then I also, there we go. There we go, guys. Hello. I am so glad you guys are here. We are starting. This is my demonstration from this morning's class. And give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I'm using a microphone to kind of help for more uniform sound, but sometimes it doesn't always quite work. So let's see. Okay. Oh, good. Thank you, my phone. I'm glad it's working. Yay. Okay, so I am going to be demonstrating this lilac. So this is the first hour of a block-in of lilacs, and we are going to have a good time. Let's see, it'll work. And yeah, okay. So glad you guys are here and that everything's well. So this is like the first layer of getting paint in. And what I think I want to do today is I actually want to just kind of like fine tune a little bit more of the lilacs. So, oh my goodness, Anne, I was wondering where you were. But thanks for letting me know. I'm so sorry that you didn't have electricity. I hope it has come back since. That's tough when we are so, electricity is so important to us. I'm always surprised by how very critical that aspect is to our life now. Oh, no worries, and no worries at all. Okay, so what I want to do today is I want to like refine that just a little bit more. So granted, the whole painting obviously needs some work. Oh, goodness. But I also just want to move forward, I guess, with the flowers. So I'm feeling like the flowers could use a little bit more attention. So up until this time, I painted the flowers with a big brush, like a size 6, which is pretty big. And I'm going to go a little bit smaller now. I've got a size 3 and looks like I have a size 1. And I'm going to fiddle with those as I fine tune the lilacs. I'm going to zoom in a bit and just kind of like do a little bit of fine tuning. And yeah, so that's where we are right now. Woohoo! Now, I love painting. And I love having this opportunity to paint with you guys as well. It's like a big gift all around. Okay, so, and then I've got this one too. Okay, so let's see. So I need, okay, so oops, sorry for tapping the, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be going back and forth between background and foreground, with the flowers. And so I'm going to get some of that going. Okay, so so I've already got one layer of background in, but I'm going to go back in. And this is all wet and wet. I started it this morning. Hi, Visandra. I'm glad you're here. And so I'm just going to like pick up. I like always painting back to front. And one of the reasons why I like to paint back to front is is because of controlling edge quality. And my students know that I think a lot about edge quality. I have in the slideshows I talk a lot about the visual hierarchy of edges, and I think it's very important. So I always strive to, when I'm painting, I try to paint in such a way that reinforces like good edge quality control with my painting. And so that is kind of what I'm doing right now. I want to get some of things in. Okay, so and then there's, okay, I'm really liking how this is coming on, going on. So I'm going to go there. Okay. So a little bit of background in. And so now I'm going to start exploring. I got a number one. It's kind of it's a worn out brush. It's a little stiff, but it'll work fine. I'm going to make sure when I'm painting, I'm using a very soft touch. My brush is fully loaded, so even though it's kind of a stiff brush, I can still use it to my, to what I need. And like I've got these really dark shapes first, so I'm going to get, again, painting back to front. I'm going to get some of those dark shapes in first. Okay. Now we've got some new people that have just joined. So this is my painting demonstration for my Florals and Oils class. And as an extra perk, it's online. And as an extra perk, I do this extra painting demonstration. So that way we can spend more time in conversation and, review of their work, my students' work in the actual class. And the reality is, it's so fun to watch people paint. You can do that for hours and hours. At least I can. So that's kind of, oops, sorry guys for knocking the camera, i.e. my phone. Let's see, so there's a lot going on. There's a lot of, there we go. And then there's that really rich yep. So light kissed flowers. Really nice. Oh, love that. Love, love, love that. Yep, and then there's some spots down there. Okay. Okay, so there's that. That's working out pretty good, I think. And then I've got this one flower right here. It's coming off of that. So between every brush stroke I'm doing, I'm making sure my brush is clean. So I'm wiping it off. Because if I've picked up any other paint, I don't want that paint coming through or being picked up and like adulterating my mixtures. But I also don't want the, what is it? I want my brush to stay clean, and so I'm adjusting my brush strokes as I paint. Oh, so pretty. I absolutely love the colors of lilacs too. Like, you know, you can get the really purpley ones, but this year my lilacs was very, very this rich kind of fuchsia red, which is like what a treat, because usually they're a little bit more purpley, but not this year. This year they were super red, and I love the variety of lilacs that are available out there. Okay, so okay, there we go. Lovely. Lovely. Okay, I've got some. And there's, oh my goodness, so pretty. So I'm going to use dark first, and then I'll go in with the lighter color. So some lighter value pieces coming through. And then, like, I want to make sure that, like, for example, like right there, I then have a light one right there. And I'm not going to go with my lightest light right off the bat. I sneak up to my lighter shades. So I've got, lilacs are these multi-flower heads. There's a true term for them, but I can't remember what it is. And in truth, I don't need to know, because when you're painting, you really want to be thinking in shapes more than in like actual like identifiable botanical names. So I try to keep things a bit more laid back about that, even though, like, don't get me wrong, I love me a good vocab. You know, like, I love looking at vocab words and stuff, but for this I don't need to. I just need the painting to kind of like sing. And so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to make sure that the bits and pieces work out well. And so I've got a round right there. Oh, I got to do the background again because I'm moving up the chain, so to speak. So, okay, I got to get more cobalt blue out. Okay, so yay. Thank you guys for being here and for I love it that there's so many like flower lovers out there too. I assume that you're here watching this because you too like flowers. I love that. Okay, so I've done the background, like the reinforcement background, but I haven't done a reinforcement up here. So I want to get that in. Love the background color. Thank you, Sanchi. I appreciate it. So I love painting indirectly, but at the same time, like even when you paint in multiple sessions and multiple layers, you still need to be able to paint like wet and kind of directly. And so each layer has a little bit of that aspect involved. Okay. And my brush is getting really dirty today. Okay. Whoa, what happened? That's odd. There we go. So much light. Yeah, thank you. So, so I now have enough background. So now I can like work a little bit more on getting some of those little extra bits, the boundary lines, and get certain things set up. And what I love about these lilacs is that they have these wonderful, wonderful shapes. You know, this bouquet happens to be lots of the flower, the individual flowers are actually still in bud. They're not fully open, and so it creates this wonderful variety that I just find so enchanting. It's not all the same texture, but it's it's got just a wee bit more variety, which is something I really like in a painting. And then there's like all of these right here, there's a whole bunch of buds. So, but before I can paint the buds in, I need to paint that the deep shadow color inside. So, is it a mix? Sanchi, yes, my background mixture is cobalt blue and burnt umber. So that's the brown. And then I have just a smidge of cobalt turquoise light in it too, because I want it to go a little bit more green. Okay, so I've got these dark shapes that I wanted to capture, and then there's a couple of like dark stems, and there's some green notes too. So I'm going to have to get some green notes as well. But let's see, and then right here, so I'm going to get some of that really dark. And then right here, there's a lot of dark. Okay. So, yeah. So I'm having lots of fun just like breaking down, finding my space to. Oh, I gotta also do, I call them sky holes, and that's because of, um, if you've ever read the John Carlson book on landscape, he talks about sky holes, and they are, and when you're painting landscapes, they're the holes in the trees, but when you're painting flowers, you actually have sky holes too. They're just like flower background holes, but I still use the term sky hole because that concept I learned when reading the Carlson book, and it just so accurately and like describes that phenomena. So I still call them sky holes. Okay, I need to go a little bit lighter in value because my gray kind of shifts some. So, and I want this edge to be a little bit more dramatic. So what is the question? How do you determine the background color? Well, Sanchi, I determine the background color usually by my setup. That has a big role in, but then and then I just kind of also make decisions on like what do I want. So like I've got a gray background, but like what is in the foreground and like what would benefit. And I think sometimes, like for example, these lilacs have quite a bit of red in them, so having a gray that is cool and that maybe has just a slight undertone of green in it, because that's green is the color complement to red. I might actually, it essentially gives me an opportunity of like seeing if I could come up with something that's just a little bit more visually nuanced. So I absolutely love, when I'm painting, I love striving for like the color vibrations you can get from painting and using your complementary colors to do that. So I strive to do that with my backgrounds. I like having neutrals with my floral compositions often, but I also like it when I can create something that is just a wee bit like more. I don't know how to say it more than more, but like it's, it has value is very important for a painting to succeed, especially a realistic painting to succeed. But I think it's in color where you get some of that emotionality. And so if you can push certain colors, sometimes you can create some really wonderful emotional effects. And so when I'm painting, I'm always thinking about that, like how could I maybe heighten some of that emotional effect in my painting. And if I think there's a way to do it with color, I do it. And I don't hesitate. I seize the day, so to speak, for that. Yeah. So that's sort of how I pick my backgrounds. I start with a neutral, and then when I'm actually painting, I think about color theory and how I can maybe enhance the painting by using color theory. So, and I use I always make sure my brush is fully loaded, because I'm painting, even though I'm painting wet and wet, I want the visual effect of broken color. I want that like what you can accomplish. So because of all of certain like goals I have and everything, I do try to make sure that I can create some very like evocative pieces with using both color and form. Okay. Got to make sure my brushes are fully loaded. Yeah, okay, so I am loving how this piece is coming together. So I'm going to enhance a little bit of my purple edge, and so right there. And so now, oftentimes with my edge quality, I like to have a variety of edges. So you've got hard edges, soft edges, blended edges, lost edges, and all of those together, in my opinion, make for a beautiful painting. And so when I have that opportunity to paint, I really strive to see how I can incorporate that. So there's some beautiful, like fuchsia, a beautiful fuchsia color. I'll need to do a couple of layers because some is more purple and some is more fuchsia. That's looking really nice, I think. It's slowly coming together. That is the one thing about painting, is that sometimes it's just a slow process, and there's no harm in the speed that it's coming. You just, you give yourself the kudos for that. Painting takes the time it takes. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the mental meditation that occurs from it. And oh gosh, I'm already in love. Yes. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, so beautiful. So like, and paintings like this also give me an opportunity to really play with juicy brush strokes, and and so I'm very, I feel so lucky at times when I get to just paint and just enjoy those juicy brush strokes. And that's what I'm doing today, my friends. I'm so glad you are here. Yes. So and now, all the colors are, there's variety in what is available. There's, some colors are more purple, and then some are more pinky, and so I'm just, you know, making sure that I have what I want, like, because this also, the flowers are in various stages of openness, that changes the feel. And like lilacs are, well, actually I love all flowers. There are like, I absolutely love, actually I just love all flowers. I don't have a favorite flower, but like, to me, like, I think of certain flowers as having certain, like, qualities that draw me in. And one of the things that lilacs draw me in for is, like, to me, I think this is what the very first lace makers in the world were thinking, is they were trying to create this variety of line and shape when they decided to come up with this idea of making lace. There's just, because to me it's like that's what like a painting like flowers like lilacs are. They are like lace in nature. They are, you know, it's lace, the lace you find in nature. And I just love it. So, and when I'm in this, doing this type of work, I'm really striving to not think that I am painting a flower petal. I really strive to think about, I'm painting a shape. So that way, when I can, I don't get caught up with like what it is, and then, like, our minds have archetypes of what things should look like. Like, let's think of a painting an apple. I mean, you know, every A is for apple kind of diagram, and it's usually like a red apple. You don't usually see a green apple, or much less like I say a Macintosh that has a bunch of variety of colors on it. So if you are painting an apple, and you are allowing the archetypes to prevail, you're not going to paint what you see, but instead you're going to paint you're going to paint you're going to paint what your mind thinks as an archetype. And so, like, I always strive when painting to, especially flowers, is to paint the shapes and really spend time to focusing on just the shapes, so that way I can make sure that I'm doing what makes sense, what is eloquent and expressive too. I always want my paintings to feel like emotionally beautiful and expressive too. Okay, so I've got some green I've got to locate. That will make the reds and the lilacs even pop more. Okay, and then there's another bit right around here. There's probably like a couple notes right there, so I'll just do that. And then what I realize is, okay, I need to actually put in more of a block, because when I did it as lines, it became, and that green is in the background. Oh goodness, yes. Okay, so I'm going to have to paint some of the foreground a little bit more, but you know, it's the push and pull. You bring forward, you bring back, sometimes. But that green is important. So it activates all of that pink. So now I've got to put these little delicate color notes in. Oh, thank you, Anne. Thank you, thank you. So now I got to put in a couple of delicate lines on top of the green. And again, like, one of the reasons why I always like to paint back to front is because when I paint a paintbrush stroke over something that's in the background, it automatically creates that sense that that green is behind what I'm painting now. So it reinforces that idea of visual depth. There we go. And then I need a bright pink, because this is bright. And then there. Nice. Lovely, lovely. Okay, and then there's a spot right. That's a foreshortened four petal flower right here that is foreshortened, so I want to try to capture that. And then there we go. And the sky is a little bit brighter, so I'm going to put some more bright notes. Oh, so, gosh, isn't it lovely? I mean, and what I always find is so amazing is like painting is like magic, guys. I mean, you put a little bit of, you got pigment, so be it like an earth tone, or like I'm using a whole bunch of like, what is it, synthetic alizarin crimson, I think is it's a chemical dye. I know quinacridone rose is definitely a chemical dye. And then so I've got these organic and inorganic pigments that then, when suspended in linseed oil, creates this, this world. I just feel so fortunate and lucky to have this opportunity to do this. And so I'm slowly working my way up. That needs to be a little bit darker, I'm realizing. I can do that though. Okay, and that is a little bit cooler, so I'm gonna, oops, not that cool though. We've got the shape there, and then like right here. Oops, needs to go darker actually. So I'll grab my darker paint. Right there. Goodness, that's gorgeous. Okay, so oh, lovely. Right there. And then I've got another couple of flowers that are starting to open up. And so I'm going to put those in. And then I have a, what time is it? Oh, wow. I am I'm getting to a really good spot. And then like I've got a whole bunch of open flowers in this region here, but what I want to do is I want to create a good base. So that means I need to go a little bit darker than what I had down initially. So I'm going a little bit darker. So I went back to go just a wee bit darker. So I'm trying to create a base that then I can work and like put in some of the flowers that are lighter in value and create, yeah. Okay, so there. So that's my base, and it's really wet, guys. So like when you're doing this type of work, you do want to be working wet and wet. I got to clean my brush really, really well. So that's my next step. And when I say really well, I mean like really well. So don't just wipe off the paint off with a rag. Use a little bit of OMS and like start afresh with a really clean rag, with a really clean brush. And then I'm going to place, okay, so this guy's placed. And then I've got one that's kind of in shadow, that the edge is catching light. And then there's a little bit of light there, and then the end is there. So that's my placeholder for that guy. And then, like, right here is a big flower. So I got to clean my brush because I'm sure I picked up some of that darker purple. There. Clean my brush again. Load up with some fresh paint. And then there. Okay. And then this flower kind of goes there. So that's one big flower. And then there's like something else, and then there's another flower right here that then kind of goes out like that. Clean my brush, time to clean my brush, time to clean my brush. Get another flower, right, another petal. And then I gotta really clean my brush because the flower petal happens to be a very bright, very pure color, and I want to capture that with clean brush. There we go. Yeah, and then there's some in-betweens. Like there's that guy right there. And I realized that side of the petal is more in shadow. So I need to actually paint that shadow right there. And then like a couple of my flowers, like this guy right here has a petal, like a center. And I need to clean my brush. And I want to create some of the high notes, especially like right here, and then right here, and then that's catching. Okay, I gotta clean my brush. Let's see. That needs to be lighter right there. And then I need to capture some of the light over here. because also like this side of the flower is catching more light. So I need to go in and start adjusting some of my values to make sure that they are, you know, representing the transition of light across the shape of this flower too. Ah, so lovely. Got some buds that I want to make sure I have room for. And then I've got a couple of really pretty, like right here. There's some buds right there I need to get in. And then some like other brush strokes there. And then like there's a center of that guy, but it's still lighter. So that means I need to make it just a smidge. It's catching light so much differently. Let's get that in. There's a couple of like flower petals that are just really white. It's not white, but totally, uh-oh, that might be too much. I squint my eyes, and yep, I did. Shucks. But that's okay. It's oil paint. I can fix that super fast. So I'm going to go with just a little bit darker value. And there, that works. It's funny how sometimes just being a step off can make such a difference. And we're getting, yeah, so I think, and then I've got, oops, got to be a little bit lighter. There we go. Yes, there we go. It's coming together. And yeah, okay. So like I am loving how this is coming together. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm looking at this and it's almost done for the first layer. So there's a couple of things that I squint at it to make sure. And like there's a few things that I'm noticing. So like I need to catch some more brightness. But it also needs to be just a little bit lighter in value. Like right here, it's catching light. So I need to get that. And right here, I'm catching light, so I want to capture that. Yeah, okay, and then I close my eyes and blink at it kind of and squint. And okay, so this area right here needs to be a little bit lighter. But as a whole, it's in a good spot, which is like really cool. There's areas that could be fine-tuned, but for my first lay-in, like this is perfect. You lay in, and like I think all paintings need at the minimum like 2 layers, but I think really paintings that thrive really need like 3 to 4 layers. 3 layers is kind of like what I like the best, because you can really accomplish some more nuance when you plan to have that 3 layers. So like this first session. So even though I've painted several layers there, I consider it 1 layer because this is all in one painting session. Yep. There we go. Nice. If I do say so myself. And of course, there's things I can simplify, but I think that's it, guys. I'm at a really good stopping point for this demonstration, and yeah. So this is kind of where I like to, I'll would fine tune a little bit more. But as a whole, this is it for kind of that putting in that first layer for a flower. And how lucky! Sometimes a painting goes pretty fast, and this has worked out pretty well. So thank you so much for being here. I gotta let you go, but I really appreciate you being here and tuning in. This is an extra perk painting demonstration for my floral still life class that I'm teaching every week on Wednesdays. We meet in the morning and I will be teaching a 6-week term this summer as well. So you guys, if you are interested in joining us, because we are a very good group of students, you're more than welcome. I encourage you to come, just visit my website to learn more. And I'll see you next week, Wednesday, when we have week number 3 of this floral still life class. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Sanchi. Thank you, Jaylee and Aramani, or Ara. Thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate it. You guys have a really, really good time. Thank you, Anne, too. So glad you're here. And see you next week. Take care.